Hello everyone, welcome back to our continuing coverage of the Halo 4 Spartan Ops experience. We are covering episode 3 today, which is titled Catherine, for a very, very good reason. And I am joined once again by HaloFanForLife.
How you doing?
Doing alright.
Thanks for having me back again.
Yeah. As always, we are happy to have our resident Spartan Ops expert join us for our show. So we are covering the next episode in our lineup of shows, and that is going to be for Catherine. Now, there's a good reason why, because we have a certain someone who most of you guys probably know about already, joining the story for Spartan Ops. And to introduce her, she's actually being brought aboard on a kind of prison transport shuttle on the Aladdin. And as we see the Aladdin enter the Infinity, Captain Lasky gets the request for the pilot of Aladdin to bring the prisoner on board. And of course we see Spartan Palmer standing right beside him, as always, like little good buddies that they are, kind of reminding him of why she was locked up in the first place. Lasky at this point is like, there's really nothing else we can do, so she is kind of vital at this point, so bring her on board. And we see Dr. Catherine Halsey escorted by two gentlemen out of the craft. And
mother of all Spartans.
Yes, mother of everything that we know about the Spartan program.
A question for you: that the Aladdin there, that's an Oni ship, yeah?
Probably.
Okay. The reason why I bring it up is that I happened to be watching Legends again, Halo Legends, the other day, and it looked like the exact same ship. It came out of cloak and everything. So I can't recall the episode offhand, but that's something to take a look at. If it's not the same ship, it's like the same design. It's so similar.
Same
when
class.
I noticed it. What's that?
Probably like the same class of ship.
Yeah. So I'd have to believe that's an Oni ship because it was in Halo Legends. And it would make sense for it to be Oni.
Well, I think the Oni were the ones that actually had her tied up.
Yeah.
Because I haven't read the Karen Travis novels yet. I'm working through them right now. But from what I've heard from talking with people who have read the books, Oni pretty much captured her after she got out of Onyx.
Yeah.
So she was being held captive by them for a little while.
It's not the first time they took her. Early in her career, they essentially said, come and work for us. I bet that wasn't a request.
Yeah, that was a direct order. And you don't deny Oni anything.
That's right.
Or else you disappear.
Without a trace.
Without a trace. So, we see Lasky welcome her, I guess, as much as he can on board, and she demands to have her cuffs removed from while she's on a ship that she helped design, and we'll get to that a little bit later. When she first gets on, she immediately asks to go see the artifact, and they take her to it. She starts observing it, and of course, you know, it's a Forerunner artifact. She's intrigued by everything that's Forerunner in her quest for knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
After a little while, she asked to see the engine room. So she, during the tram ride over, she's being escorted by Spartan DeMarco and Madsen from Fire Team Majestic.
Yep.
And they're kind of chatting off in the corner, and DeMarco asks, or actually,
That's right.
it was, no. Yeah. So DeMarco asks why, this is to Madsen, why they're guarding such an old, frail lady. And Madsen explains how she was actually the creator of the original Spartans.
No way!
Yeah. And that the kids were actually taken, or the Spartans were actually taken as kids when they were very young and then were trained to be Spartans. And DeMarco's like, well, why would you take kids? And of course, Dr. Halsey over here in the conversation responds, first we taught them how to be silent, and then we taught them how to be Spartans. Essentially telling him to shut up. Yeah.
By the way, it's interesting on that, too. I just happen to be rereading through Fall of Reach, and wow, just a fantastic book. I enjoyed reading it and learning, again, the history of how the Spartan 2s came about. And she's not as bad of a person as, as it seems like she's recently being made out to be. She had feelings for the kids, and she called them children and kept correcting herself like, okay, she has to call them test subjects, but she kept calling them kids. She always called, Master Chief John. She couldn't bring herself to call him, Spartan 117 or anything like that. So she's not this crotchety old lady that some people might think, or this war criminal as they portrayed her to be. At least I don't think so.
No, she's not. She is been played off that she is by powers beyond her control, and she's really looking out for humanity at that point. And we had the initial cutscene at the beginning of the campaign where we have the Oni, or who we think is a Oni officer, interrogating her about the Spartan program that she created. And the simple fact is the Spartans are the reason why humanity is still alive and well, because of the Covenant attacks, and they were the only ones that could defend humanity against them. So,
right. And regardless of the fact that they were initially created to fight insurgents or not, the fact is that they saved humanity. So, do the ends justify the means, or whatever you want to call it? I certainly think in this case they did.
Yeah, I would say so. Was she under orders before to create the Spartans? I don't remember.
Was she under orders?
Yeah, I think it was actually something that she just started on her own.
It was kind of like a mix of things. Like, essentially it was an agreement, She had the knowledge, Oni had the money, so they paired up essentially to create, the Spartans.
And then they're backstabbing her.
Of course. Well, that's Oni.
Yeah, that's Oni.
Would you expect anything else?
No. I suppose not. Anyways, getting back on track, we see the group enter into the engine room, and Roland is there, basically saying that the whole area is on lockdown, and Lasky's like, let her through, Roland, let her do her thing. She probably knows this thing better than anyone else. So she starts flipping through screens of engine data, and Palmer, of course, expresses her discomfort in letting Halsey do the things that she's doing. But again, Lasky reinforces that she kind of helped develop the ship. She knows this thing better than anyone else. If someone's going to figure out what's going on, it's going to be her. So she turns around after a little while and says that because the two things, the engines are a Forerunner design and the artifact is a Forerunner design, that they're communicating with each other. And in fact, the artifact is pulling information from the engines and somehow pulling information from the rest of the ship's systems, like life support, shield status, and all that good stuff. The other funny thing about it is all that information is being transmitted down to Requiem.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. There's another quote in here, and she says, "You came here to study the planet. Instead, someone on the planet is studying you." Blah.
Yeah.
So, of course, the UNSC is getting into things that they don't really know what's going on. But we transition to the planet where we see elites moving around equipment, and we have an elite named Gek, who is I believe, a brother of Jewel Mdama, and then we see Dr. Glassman there. So he's pretty much offered his life in order to help them activate the shrine believed to be the housing place for the librarian, discovered by Chief during the campaign. So he's basically ratted himself out to the Covenant and is going to help them as long as they keep him alive. So that'll be coming to fruition a little bit later during the Spartan Ops missions.
It was interesting. It was interesting. I wasn't sure what was going to happen to Glassman. Once he got, sucked away through the artifact, who knows if he died or what. And now,
Or became a Promethean or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So now we found out.
Yep.
It essentially created a little slip space portal and transported him down there.
Well, I guess if you think about it, he wasn't decomposed. Like, the effect wasn't the same. So we could have guessed. You're echoing. I'm sorry, you're echoing. I'm hearing myself through you.
All right, let me turn the microphone down.
I don't know, it just started randomly doing it.
Try now.
Test. Okay, better.
Okay?
Yeah, good. Nope. I can hear myself again.
That's so weird. I didn't do anything. I didn't move any mics. I didn't, I don't know.
Check. Can't hear myself anymore. Okay. That was weird. Sorry, it was throwing me for a loop there.
That's okay. No, that's fine, man. It's just weird because I didn't do anything different.
Are you using a built-in mic?
Yeah.
That's why. Because
that's all I have.
That's why I hear everything, is because you have a built-in mic.
Yeah. I don't have anything else, man. Sorry.
You don't have a wired controller and an Xbox headset?
Yeah, but I got a Mac. I don't know if that's going to work with that.
It should. You can try it in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I can hear everything, because those things are horrible.
Mm.
Where was I? Oh, okay, I know where I was. Let me mark this down. 25, 40. Okay.
You want me to get a headset and try it?
No. We'll do it another time.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do it another time. Okay, I'll bring us back in. So there's a good reason why I think that we see from the campaign that it's not him being composed, because if you remember, when the Didact composed everyone on the station, it looked like everyone was basically their skin was falling off and being dissolved layer by layer. But when we see Glassman, he has a different effect going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like he's being digitized. Yeah.
Ah.
So there's but the slip space portal stuff we haven't seen digitized either. So maybe it's just he's being absorbed and stored somehow. Different than the composition. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then we see him.
Technology, so it's different.
Yeah, but then we finally see him there. So we're still not sure how exactly he got there, though, and we won't find out for some time.
Right.
But yes, Dr. Glassman is helping the Covenant. Hopefully, he doesn't do anything that he will regret or will hopefully damage the UNSC too much, because that would be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so the first chapter in this episode is the VIP. This is on the map Quarry, and your objective is to eliminate the target elite. The description actually of this, I'll read these out. I forgot if I read them out last time because it's been so long since we've done one of these. But it's Parg, a known Sangheili terrorist, an associate of Jul Umdama, is confirmed to be on Requiem. Dun dun dun. So your objective here is to take out the Covenant terrorist as soon as you can, as quickly as possible. So this mission kind of shortly turns on its head, because once you get there, of course, Pargval is right there in front of you, just up the hill. You're playing on the map of Quarry, so you try to run up the hill, but as you get up there, he goes up into his phantom and he flies away. So, of course, that's all fun and dandy.
Damn.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, well, we found him, and then, well, there he goes. And it turns out that Miller is not able to keep track of him, so, of course, Spartan Palmer is not too happy about that.
What is up with Miller, really? Oh,
I don't goodness. I don't know. Well, okay, so I have the same thing with Roland, and it's more evident in episodes later, but just kind of his attitude towards things in general is really not indicative of a smart AI, and I'll get to that in a future episode.
Yeah. He is kind of blasé about some things.
Yeah, and kind of dumb in some aspects too, or at least seems dumb. Anyways, once once Pargval escapes, there's really not much else you can do, but Spartan Dalton gets on the line and actually has been able to find some UNSC equipment and assets that the Covenant have been stockpiling there for a while, And he figures, well, since you're there, you might as well go and get the stuff back for us.
Let me interject here real quick, too. For your loadout for this, I definitely suggest using some form of a long-range weapon, DMR, BR, light rifle, something like that. You've got a lot of long sight lines here, so it's definitely helpful to have those long-range weapons to start out with. Fair
point. So as you're making your way into the quarry, which is where everything is stored, you're going to be running into some of your typical Covenant grunts, jackals, elites, whatnot. I guess I did forget to mention this earlier, but when you initially spawn, you receive an instant weapon drop. So you have 2 sniper rifles and the railgun that drop to actually help eliminate the enemies that are up on the hill. And of course, by the time you get up there, it's kind of too late. So those might be something where you might want to pick them up just at the beginning and save them for later, because they will become quite useful when you need to go to the next area.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So once you start to make your way to the quarry, you're going to have the 2 Covenant sniper towers that are going to have a couple sniper jackals on them and just kind of enemies around the entry point. So take them out as quickly as you can, and then make your way towards the pit, and you can see the stolen Scorpion tanks there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so this is a fun mission. You get to have a little fun with some heavy weaponry. So you want to take out the Covenant there as quickly as you can, then hop into a tank and take out all the enemies around there.
Just blast away.
Yep.
This was fun. This is reminiscent of the mission in Halo 3, where it's tank beats everything.
Yeah, kind of is.
Sure enough.
It kind of is, especially on co-op, because then you're pretty much unstoppable.
Yeah. Even on Legendary, still.
Yeah. So you'll have a lot of enemy drops. Once you get to the tanks, you'll have phantoms galore. You'll have drop pods coming in and putting down elites with concussion rifles and fuel rods, I think. So just go to town and have some fun, because it's really hard to... It's going to be really hard for them to kill you, as long as you're playing on, I guess, with friends. If you're doing it on Legendary, of course, because if you're doing it Legendary solo, you're going to probably die a few times at least.
Yeah, there's enough fuel rods out there that they could tear you up.
Yeah, and there will be plenty of them where it only takes, I think, 2 or 3 well-placed fuel rod shots on a tank on Legendary for you to die.
That's right.
But for the most part, if you're playing with friends, this is kind of one of those fun missions. Get to play with some tanks. Get to play with some heavy firepower. So you have some enemy stats for us on this one?
I sure do. Okay, first, let me back up from the previous episode that we did when I was talking about the names for the enemies versus the names in the commendations. I have now created a chart on my website that shows the breakdown of each type of enemy per the commendations. So, that's going to make it a lot easier if you go to my site, download the chart there. And what I've also did beyond just, numbering, the per episode and how many and all that, for Covenant, there are some blocks in the chart that are light blue, some are dark blue. The ones that are dark blue are the ones that that's where you can find the most of that particular enemy. The ones that are light blue are like the next highest ones. So this particular mission, I just call it 3-1 because it's episode 3, chapter 1. The things that you're really going to be able to concentrate on is regular grunts, which I got at about 36. Jackal Rangers, which are 24, and regular elites at 23. Everything else is kind of, low range stuff, not a whole lot to go there. But, so it's of course all Covenant. There is practically everything else there that is Covenant. So, this isn't a bad mission if you want to work on your Covenant kills and have fun doing it with a tank. There are other missions later for the elites that are better, and for grunts, but this isn't a bad one to play and have fun, like I said, with the tank.
Tank beats everything.
Definitely.
All right. So this bridges up to Chapter 2, Galileo. And actually, if
Galileo. Sorry.
Galileo Figaro. No, I was thinking the same thing.
We'll stop right there because I could do the whole thing.
Really?
I could.
I may have to have you do that later.
Go on.
So
I don't think the listeners want to hear that.
some of them might. I mean, but we'll do that later.
All right.
If we back up just a tad, back into Chapter 1, at the very end of the mission, we hear a distress call come from Dr. Owen at Galileo Base. So this is actually kind of the precedent into Chapter 2.
It's a good segue.
Yeah. They actually developed a lot of good segues for the later episodes, and kind of going back, they really just took episode 1 and 2 to really introduce you to how the Spartan Ops thing was going to flow, how it's going to work via like co-op, the co-op experience, the whole multiplayer aspect of things as you're actually a squad working together to do an objective, which is a little bit different than the firefight stuff. But those 2 episodes were kind of the nitty-gritty, this is how things are going to work, and now we're actually getting into the heart and guts of the storyline for Spartan Ops. So Galileo Base is actually complex from War Games.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, so this is our first kind of glimpse into seeing that the War Games maps, because they are supposed to be derived from real world scenes, or real universe scenes, I guess, more or less. And we see it here in Spartan Ops. So immediately when you land and get dropped into the complex, Dr. Owen is radioing you.
You want to restart that?
No, I'm good. I got it out there. She's radioing you and saying that the Covenant are after the computers holding some valuable information, and that she needs you to shut them down. And the only way that you're able to do that is actually just going around and shutting off all the power conduits. So she lights up 3 beacons for you of where all the power terminals are. So you go around fighting off the Covenant as you're trying to go around and get to these power cores and shut them all down. Once you do that, you'll actually hear a radio call in from, I believe it's Spartan Palmer, and she says that Parg has actually been spotted in the area. So if you find him, take him out.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see how well that goes by the end of this. Once you get all the power cores down, you can find some turrets that have been placed up on, let's see, it's the small lift room, and then the one that's on the big middle tower that everyone goes to when you're playing on multiplayer, like the big control point. So there's 2 turrets up there, and that's the next thing you need to do is go up there, activate those turrets, and they will help cut down the rest of the enemies. And it's actually, I think you actually have to activate them. Like, I think the Covenant will still drop. I think they'll still drop if the turrets aren't activated yet. I'm not sure.
I can't recall.
I haven't really played Spartan Ops in that manner to where I haven't activated the turrets before, so maybe you can get by. But I think they are actual progressive things in the story for the chapter that you actually have to activate them in order to
In this
continue.
one, I'm not sure. I know in a later one, it's not needed, but this one, I can't confirm that or not.
We'll address that when we do the video part.
Okay.
We'll just say that.
Sounds good.
So, put up the turrets, and those will help you cut down the rest of the Covenant enemies as they come in. And once all the Covenant are gone, then it's time to turn all the computers back on and try to figure out what data that Galileo Base had that the Covenant were so interested in. And that pretty much brings it to the end of this chapter. It's really a simple chapter.
It is.
So yeah, we kind of breezed through that one pretty quickly.
Yep. Not much here for enemies either. You've got a bunch of grunt Imperials at 28 and elite officers at 22. Everything else is really small. So I hate to say it, but this is one of those missions that I haven't played a whole lot. Explains why I wouldn't know what, if you need to activate the turrets or not. It's just one of these ones where there are other missions that are better suited for more kills of these enemies. So, maybe play it a couple times, but you can otherwise breeze through this one pretty quick.
Yeah. This one's really just kind of a setting block, a stepping stone for further missions that actually happen in this area.
Right.
So, But remember that whole thing about how Parg was spotted in the area? Well, he got away again.
Of course.
Of course. Sneaky bastard.
Arr.
Arr. So that moves us on to Chapter 3, Spartan Mountain. How about that?
I was so happy when I saw what map this was going to be on. Mm-hmm. The fact that it's on Ragnarok, which is, of course, the progression from Valhalla.
Yeah.
I had always wanted the opportunity in Halo 3 to be able to play against Covenant on some of these maps. Way back from, there was a video that they put out on Rat's Nest that showed the Covenant on Rat's Nest. And, I don't know about you, but I was so excited thinking that, oh my goodness, we're actually going to have an opportunity to fight Covenant on these maps. And that didn't happen in Halo 3. But here, thank goodness it seems like, I'm not sure if it was David Ellis or Mr. Haluki there, or if that's how you pronounce it, Haluk, I'm not sure. Anyways, but one of them said something to the effect of, they had always wanted to play against Covenant on Valhalla, and here was the opportunity to do so. And I was excited to be able to do that on this map.
It's really interesting how for some of these maps they've incorporated in here too, just how you can see it playing in multiplayer and it works really well, but then you can see it in the story aspect and it strangely works well as also.
Yeah.
Because we had it in Reach where we had multiplayer spaces based off of the campaign, and that didn't really work out well.
Not as well, no.
But when you kind of do the reverse, and you're actually having it in an experience that's actually kind of a merge of the two, it actually works pretty decently.
Yeah, this is one they absolutely got it right. And you can see where they built in all these little extras to have it available for different missions to be able to turn things on and so on. But we'll get into that.
Yeah, that has to be a very, very interesting map architecture in order to be able to just add those random things into a map. So, because I'm assuming the actual War Games map is the baseline map, and then the Spartan Ops has extra add-ins to actually insert stuff into the map. Like it's almost like a game type.
Right.
Which I'm assuming that's probably what that is.
It seems like, yeah. That makes sense.
Anyways, Chapter 3, Spartan Mountain. Marine Squad Mountain has crashed behind enemy lines and requests immediate evac. The map is 2 giants, and your objective, rescue all UNSC personnel. So, Mountain Squad is a Marine squad that has gotten shot down after chasing a mysterious signal in the area. And the last report that you have is that they were under heavy fire, so you're pretty much going in and kind of rescuing these guys because, they're Marines, you're Spartans. You know how to... Are you
sure they're Marines? You sure they're not Spartans as well?
Well, it says Marine squads. Oh, wait a second. Maybe
Go ahead. The reason why
No, they are Spartans, yeah.
Yeah, the reason why I ask is because
I don't know why
I think it's in the very first mission from Chapter 1. They start naming off all the different Spartan squads, and Mountain is one that they name.
Well, so the actual description for the chapter, it says Marine Squad Mountain.
Okay, somebody goofed up. They're definitely Spartans.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that too, and it's like, really didn't notice that. Well, okay, so...
They need backup then.
Aren't there additional Marines at the Canyon Tower?
Yes.
I think that's why.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know, now I'm confused. Because the chapter description is Marine Squad Mountain has crashed behind enemy lines and requests immediate evac.
Okay. That's weird. Yeah. I don't know.
We'll move on regardless. How about that?
That sounds good.
Yeah. So you land at the waterfront tower, and this is the water area of Ragnarok, if you've played the map, which you probably have. And if you haven't by now, there's something wrong with you. So you start there, and there's actually a plasma cannon turret that you can hop up on. If you're doing cooperative, it's helpful to have one guy stay back and get in the turret to give suppressing fire. If not, just take out the grunt there so he doesn't cause mayhem for you later. And then run over to the Pelican, and they are Spartans at the Pelican. So rendezvous up with the guys at the Pelican, and when you actually get there, they'll radio over to you. It's like, hey, it's another Spartan. So you'll be all friendly, and once you take out the Covenant there around the Pelican area, you'll go over to the Covenant jammer. That's actually been preventing you from hearing Infinity really well. You'll actually get a couple of transmissions coming in at the very beginning where Infinity's trying to reach you, but the signal is very, very choppy. So you and the other Spartan squad that's there will go over, take out all the enemies over there, and disable the jammer.
And this area that you're talking about, some people refer to it as campsite, or it's by turret, for those that are familiar with the callouts for Ragnarok or Valhalla.
I've always known it as tower or the wall.
Well, the wall as well. The wall will work as well. There's a lot of different, callouts. People, I've seen all of those used. Campsite, because that's where the
camping stool was.
Right, camping stool. Of course, turret is right by there as well. But yeah, any of those. But we know what we're talking about. What location that is.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of callouts to that. It's basically just the opposite side of the Pelican.
Right.
So once you go over there and take out the jammer, make sure you pick up the fuel rod guns out of there. You'll definitely need those for later. There are some, I believe there are some Marines over in the next area, but you'll make your way over to the Canyon Tower, and there's actually a Phantom that'll drop in on your way over there, so watch out for the group of elites that drop in there. There's also a rocket launcher at the crash site. If you go back to where the Spartans originally were, there's a rocket launcher there as well that you can pick up. There's also a turret that's on the ground that you can use. I don't use that. I personally haven't used the turret for just about anything.
Right.
But so pick those up. And there's also going to be hunters that drop in after you disable the jammer as well. And that's why you want to pick up the rockets or the fuel rods, because those will help make your
life a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll be a lot happier that you picked them up. There's also a Wraith that gets dropped in one of the Phantoms as well. So those rockets and fuel rods will be very useful for that. Once you take out all the Covenant nearby, you'll meet up with the Marines that are there, and you'll be asked by... Actually, you need to disable the shields first to the tower, and then you'll be asked by Dr. Halsey to take a closer look at the tower to kind of further examine what strange readings they were getting and what Mountain Squad was originally there to research. So there's some interesting stuff that's going on. So she asks you to activate the tower, and of course Spartan Palmer reluctantly says, okay, do what she says. So you activate the tower, something happens, she asks you to run out really quickly, and then once you get to either the two objectives where you're supposed to go to, you actually are forced into this camera view where you look straight up and you see this data pulse, which is it's the regular blue pulse that we've seen from all the Forerunner tech with that tower before. So the Halo 1 stuff, if you have it on Valhalla, it's the regular blue pulse that goes up that's supposed to be on Halo. Well, that thing activates, and it actually is, for this all intents and purposes, a data burst that contains navigation data, a bunch of different communication protocols and whatnot. So this is something that's really, really intriguing. But since you have more Covenant dropping in on you, it's kind of like, okay, well, we'll take care of this later. Let's take care of the rest of the Covenant that are coming in that are probably pissed off now that we activated the fancy toy. So after you activate the tower, you need to quickly get out and take out the remaining Covenant forces that are coming in to take you out. There is another Hunter pair to watch out for, so make sure you have those rockets or fuel rods or some kind of heavy weaponry still available to you to use.
And it's always important that if you're fighting co-op, when you're going against hunters, don't both go at them from the same direction. If you can get on either side, then somebody's always going to have a shot at their back where they're the most vulnerable. So even if you don't have those rockets or fuel rods with you, if you've got a shot at his back, even with a DMR, you're going to severely wound that hunter and get him down fairly quick. So make sure that you use that as a tactic, if you're playing co-op.
believe that's called the flanking maneuver.
Exactly.
So what do we have in terms for enemies on this one?
This one, unfortunately, there's nothing really that stands out. There's a little bit of Jackal Rangers, but not as much as there was in chapter 1 of this episode. It's really just, it's a fun mission to play because it's on Valhalla, or rather Ragnarok. But that being said, the next mission is actually even better.
Yep.
Since it's also played on Ragnarok.
It is. I'm all giddy. Because we get to play with another big toy.
Oh, yes.
You thought we played with something cool in the first chapter. Oh, no. Oh, no. So, chapter 4 is called Shootout in Valhalla.
Sweet.
I'm still wondering why they used Valhalla instead of Ragnarok. But anyways, for this one, Fireteam Crimson's attempted rescue of Mountain Squad has gone sideways. Situation developing. The map is on 2 giants, and your objective, survive. That seems easy enough. So what you're up to here is you're holding out against waves and waves of Covenant. So this is kind of a throwback to somewhat of a classic firefight scenario. There are 3 turrets that Mountain Squad has been able to deploy since you've had your kind of standoff with the Covenant. They haven't attacked you for a while, and they were actually able to put these up. So there's 3 turrets altogether. There's one in front of each base towards the inner part of the canyon, and then there's one at the very middle on the top hill where normally the Spartan laser would spawn in multiplayer.
Are there Marines in this mission?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I would think so, because if you're still there, I would think...
I'm trying to recall if this is the mission or if it was the previous one.
Yeah, because there's Warthogs in here. Yeah, there's Marines.
In this mission?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the reason why I ask that is...
I'm pretty sure.
It's a good thing, if you're playing by yourself on this mission, go and grab some of those Marines to get into your Warthog. If you find a good power weapon, switch it out with one of those Marines and have that one get in your passenger, have another one get in your, your chain gun, and then have at it. The Marine that's in your chain gun will get the same kills for you as if you already killed them. Otherwise, if you're playing co-op, then if you get a gunner and you're the driver, then you'll get all those wheelmen, and vice versa. Of course, if you're the gunner, then whoever's driving you will get the wheelman for all your kills as well. So this is definitely a good mission, a really good mission to boost up your wheelman kills, and commendation rather. Yeah.
The only thing is, there's really not too much time that you're spending in those Warthogs and dealing with ground troops. Or at least it doesn't seem like it's really that long. It seems maybe a third of the mission is actually done in that style.
That's why I'm not sure if it was the last mission or this one. Regardless, if you're on this map and you got a Warthog, pick up some company there and have them help you out.
Yes, definitely. So about a third of the way through, you'll see the Covenant cruiser come into position above you, and this is the part when you actually hear Spartan Palmer ask Spartan Dalton to send you an emergency dispatch of some heavy weaponry, some heavy vehicles. So after a little while, you'll get pulled out to a cutscene, and you'll see some pelicans pull in some mantises for you.
Yeah.
These are the fun toys that we mentioned earlier. So once those things get dropped off, head on over to them and get in them as quickly as possible, because you have a slew of things coming in.
Uh-huh.
You have drop pods dropping in, hunters. You have banshees coming in. And a little bit later, you're going to fight something a little bit bigger. So you'll hold out for a good probably 3 or 4 minutes, fighting waves of banshees and drop pods with hunters in them. So just stay back in the mantis. Make sure you keep moving, because if you're standing still, you will get taken out quickly. Just keep moving. Make sure you are using the chain guns and the missile pods appropriately. The banshees are not that hard to take out with the chain guns, so and they also, you can auto track the missiles. So if you have your reticle on a banshee, and if it's red, any missile that you shoot will actually track. So keep that in mind when you're shooting against the Banshees. And the missiles are also a bit better against the Hunters because it's an explosion where the bullets of the machine gun will actually just bounce off their hard shields. So definitely use the missiles on the Hunters, and then machine gun the Banshees unless you need to use a missile on those. So that's the strategy I would recommend using.
Yeah, usually when we first get the mantises, I stay around that area, just moving around a little bit, take out the initial wave or two of Banshees, and then I move to top mid of the map so that I'm right around where where those drop pods come down, but I've got the high ground advantage so I can see all around me to be able to take out all the Hunters and any other enemies that happen to show up. And you've got plenty of room around there to move around top mid. And like I say, it's really the vantage point of where you can see that you've got the opportunity to take out any enemy from any direction.
Right. So just keep on moving around. Make sure you have a good vantage point on them. After several waves of the Pelicans, Banshees, Hunters, and whatnot, there'll be a brief break. And then you'll want to actually make your way over to the waterfront tower because you'll have streams of Banshees and Phantoms coming down at you. I think there's, if I remember my counts right, there are 5 waves of, what is it, 2 Phantoms and 6 Banshees?
Yeah, I can't recall if it's 5 waves or not, but certainly you do get 2 Phantoms and plenty of Banshees to kill. If you're going for your Banshee kill commendation, this is the mission to do it. Of course, you can get Banshee kills in war games, but why bother when this mission offers you, it literally offers you 24 Banshees to kill in one mission. So this is the one to go for that. Unfortunately, there's no commendation for Phantoms. If there were, this would certainly be the one to do it. But
yeah, you think with them actually making you have to kill Phantoms that would have been something they included.
Yeah, but still, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Definitely the tactic here is to use the machine gun on the Banshees and use the missile pods on the Phantoms.
Absolutely.
Remember, you can do the overcharge with the missile pods. So you just hold down the left trigger, and you can kind of see them lock on the side. I don't know if there's a visual indication on the actual like ammo meter on your HUD. Like I've looked at it sometimes, and it doesn't seem like there's a visual indication of which ones are going to be primed to shoot. You just have to look at the ones that lock into place actually on the Mantis to figure out if you have how many you have locked in.
And I just shoot them one at a time. But yeah, you can certainly do that. I don't know.
Well, it's a little bit quicker to do the overcharge, I think. Now I think the reload is longer because you're doing the overcharge.
Yeah.
But if you have multiple people helping you, then that means you can take out one of those Phantoms like that.
Yeah, real fast.
Yeah, really, really quickly. So you will be facing those waves of Pelicans and Banshees, and then after a little while, you have help from Infinity, and they just put a Mac round right through that cruiser.
Oh, and it's so beautiful to see.
Pretty explosions.
Usually when I'm playing with other folks, we're also shooting at the same thing. You know, we're shooting at the cruiser from a distance too. Even though it doesn't do anything, it's still fun.
Yeah. It's like, did my missile get there? Did my missile get there? I don't know. At that point, you have to think about gravity pull.
Yeah.
It's like, how much drop are you going to get on that thing? It doesn't even have enough fuel to even get that far.
Right. This mission, if I can go over the stats on here, this is
go for
a good one. Okay, this mission by far is the best for your Covenant kills, and it has the highest amount of the high count for most of the enemies. What I mean is, let's see, there's 3, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 14 different kinds of Covenant enemies that you can face. You know, there's Grunts, Jackals, Elites, Hunter, Ghosts, Wraiths, and Banshees. Of the 14, there are 5 that are the highest kill counts and 1 that's the next to the highest. So there's 35 regular Grunts that you can kill, 22 Imperials, then 27 regular Jackals. That's the highest of any regular Jackal kill count that you can get.
Is that because they're on the... That has to be because they're on the Phantoms.
Yeah, they're dropping from the Phantoms.
Okay.
Yeah, they're dropping from the Phantoms. Next is the Elites. There's 48 Elites that you can get. That's not just from drop pods, but that's also
the Banshees.
All the Banshees, because there's 24 Banshees that you can kill.
So you're doubling up on commendations right there.
Right. And then of Elite Officers, there's 28 of those. That's the highest one as well. Hunters, there was, I have 14, but I think it's actually 16. Because they always come in pairs, but I think there's 8 pairs of Hunters. But regardless, this is the mission for your hunter kills. So if you're going for that commendation, by and large, this is the one you want to hit for hunter kills. And of course, as we talked about, Banshees as well, having 24. So this mission of any regarding Covenant is the one that I went back to time and time again, not just to boost the commendations, which of course is a lot of fun, but the fact that you're getting to kill him with the Mantis, I mean, that was just so much fun. This also is a good opportunity when you're using the Mantis to practice your stomp, so that when you go into matchmaking, you know now how to use it, how far it's, effective, what its splash damage is like, so to speak. So, make use of your Mantis here. Get the timing down for your missile shots, whether you charge it up or you do them one at a time. Get an idea for how fast it takes for your chain gun on the Mantis to reload itself. So this mission, it has so much replayability to it. It's absolutely my favorite when it comes to Covenant missions, and probably, if not the favorite up to this point, it's got to be at least second favorite. But I'd say this is probably my favorite of all the missions today.
Fair enough. I think we see why, too. Mantis. Big giant mech. Big giant toy.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So at the end of the chapter, you get a nice little ping from Spartan Miller. It says, hey, we found Parg Val again. We're pretty sure this time.
Yeah. I think we did. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty sure. So chapter 5 is called Hunting. Covenant terrorist Parg Val has been located again. There is no better opportunity to eliminate him. Yay. This is on the map of the gate, and your objective, neutralize Covenant terrorist. Seems simple enough, although he's already evaded us 2 times already.
Mm-hmm.
So slippery son of a bitch. So, we are playing this on the gate, which is, damn, I just forgot what I was going to say.
Campaign mission? It's not a campaign mission, is it?
No. Shit, what was I going to say? I'm going to have to edit that out.
Right.
Gosh, that's embarrassing. Oh, yeah, okay, I was remember what I was going to say. Shit.
Start again, then.
Yeah. Yeah. Crap. That sucks. I just completely blanked.
That's all right, man. I know what it's like. It's all good.
So chapter 5 is called Hunting. Covenant terrorist Parg Val has been located again.
Are we sure?
We're sure. Pretty sure. There's no better opportunity to eliminate him. This is on the map of the gate, and your objective, neutralize the Covenant terrorist. And the gate, of course, is the one that we had from episode 2, the very first one that we had there. So we're back here again. So this is the one from the campaign mission Requiem, if you guys remember that. I think I said that last time too. Anyways, what you're going to do is pretty much jump up to the top of the tower or make your way up there as quickly as you can. So it's pretty simple to get up there for the first part. You just run up, kill all the Covenant that are there, make your way up the tower. You can either go to the side or you can jetpack up to the top, and then you just shoot the elite that looks like he's the big main boss, and that's Parg Val.
He's the gold one, too.
Yeah, he's the gold one. So that part's pretty easy. It's the next part you have to worry about. Because when you destroy a big leader like that, people are not going to be happy.
No.
So once you take out Parg Val, you will get dumped on by a lot of Covenant. You have drop pods coming in everywhere. You have drop pods that are landing out in sections of the map you can't even go to. You have jetpack elites coming in. You'll have jackal snipers sniping you from who knows where. It's going to be a big frag fest.
Yeah. But that's what makes it fun.
Yes, it is what makes it fun. They're still not happy, though.
No.
Not happy covenant is not good covenant. Well, any covenant's not really good covenant, but this is particularly worse because you've really, really pissed them off. You've hit the wasp's nest, so to speak. So you have jetpack elites that will come up, and after a few waves, you'll have sniper jackals that you need to pay attention to on the right-hand side. So if you're on the tower looking out from the tower, over on the right-hand side is where some jackal snipers will come down.
Mm-hmm.
There's also going to be a pair of hunters that drop. Eventually, you'll have a ordnance drop from Infinity come down and drop 2 rocket launchers and 2 Spartan lasers for you to help clean up the Covenant there. And it's pretty much just a firefight thing from then on out. Just hunker down, take out all of the Covenant. It's going to be a decently lengthy bloodbath for a while, but after a bit, you'll kind of get the congratulations of Infinity for taking out this terrorist, and of course you have a Pelican come in and take you home. So this one's pretty simple. It is a little lengthy, but in terms of the story and what you have to do, very, very simple.
Now, don't forget you have to take out a couple of those phantoms too, and that's what helps to trigger the next part where they come in with the broadswords, I believe it is, and they take out the rest of the phantoms for you.
Is
that this mission? Or am I getting ahead of myself?
So it is, but I think I have this in my thing that I wrote up. Don't exactly remember, but I believe if you take out all the Covenant before, like, there's a certain time window where if you don't take them out, they'll definitely have sending the longswords in to come take it out, I believe. But if you don't get them in time, that's when they come in and send assistance.
Okay.
I believe. Yeah. So I have in here, if you take too long to clear out the Covenant, Infinity will launch a missile strike to take out the remaining phantoms.
Well, at that point, they bring in a lot more phantoms, though. There's like 6 or 7.
So I'm guessing it depends on difficulty, and then you're using the Spartan lasers and the rocket launchers to take out the phantoms?
Yeah.
Because I think those things spawn back pretty quickly.
They do.
Yeah.
But for me, it's fun. I just love taking out the bigger things, taking out the phantoms.
Was, I think, 4 laser shots?
Yeah, you deplete your whole laser taking out.
For one phantom. And then the rocket launcher, I think it's more than 4 rockets, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's 6 or 8.
You got to take out use a whole rocket launcher. Then I usually use 1 shot from the laser after that to use the finishing shot, the kill shot. But you really only need to kill 2 phantoms at that point, and then clear up the rest of the ground forces, and then it'll trigger the next the next part of the mission where the broadswords come in and wipe out the rest of them for you.
Sounds kinky.
There's some good stats here for the snipers, which are known as Jackal Majors, and that's 13. That's your second.
There's 13 of those?
Yeah, well, it's not just the ones on the side. There's also some that are intermixed with some of the other, ground forces, and they're not necessarily snipers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's, I believe it's 6 that are off to the right there.
Yeah.
Drop. Oh God, if it was 13, that would make it even tougher. But
it'd be a little bit easier if they were like spawning in the waves, like if there were 6 in one wave and 6 in the other. But yeah, there's still a lot of snipers to deal with.
Right. And on Legendary, especially by yourself, they're deadly. Their aim is just superb. But then
that's why you have to take note and get them while they're actually running to their position, because they actually come from the hills far, far yonder.
Right.
And then they actually run up towards you. So you can actually take them out before they even have a chance to shoot you.
And what I usually do is I hide towards the back of the, of that tower or the base, whatever you want to call it. And I kind of get myself in between, some of the, the things that are in the way there, and don't give them much of a chance to really see me, and then just try and pick them off in between. You definitely don't want to be out in the open whenever those snipers start shooting. The other good thing to get here is Zealot Elites. There's 12 of them on here, and that is definitely the most that you're going to find in any of the missions, 1 through 5, episodes 1 through 5. So if you're going for that commendation, this is the mission to go for your elite zealots. Everything else is kind of not really remarkable.
All right. Fair enough. It does feel just like a lot, though.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot of everything. Not as much as the previous mission, but because it's a much tighter and smaller map, it feels like it. This actually gives me a little bit of a feeling of like when you're playing on high ground from Halo 3, the way you have to work your way up the hill to get to, the usual objectives whenever you were playing in Halo 3, if it was bomb or one flag. This is kind of the same feeling that I get when I play this Spartan Ops mission.
Okay. All right. I can see that a little bit. All right. I think that wraps up this episode.
Oh, yes, it does.
I believe it does. There is the Rooster Teeth Easter egg that I forgot to mention.
Aha.
That's actually a few chapters back. Sorry about that, guys. But we'll backtrack here. The Rooster Teeth Easter egg is on chapter 4. And if you look up on the waterfront tower, there's the part that goes all the way up to the top, and then there's kind of 2 little towers that go not all the way up, but about halfway up. So on the right side, one of those, that's where the little Rooster Teeth box is that you want to shoot.
You're talking on the trees?
No. Oh, wait, this is the tree one. Sorry, the wrong one. Okay, my bad. My bad.
That's okay.
Again. Yes. Instead of the tower, that's actually on another one. That's actually in the next episode. For this one, however, there's a tree off to the right. So if you know the cliff that goes up to the waterfall, the snowy area, it's the trees that kind of over there. So just look up, and in one of those trees, you'll find the box.
And it's at the very, very top.
Yeah, it's at the very, very tip top. That it doesn't physically make sense, but it's there anyways. And the thing that it changes is that when the Pelicans come in to drop off the Mantises, you'll hear Griff and Simmons talking on the radio about the cargo. There'll be Simmons is trying to we have a big surprise for you, and Griff will be like, It's giant robots. He's like, why'd you ruin the surprise, Griff? It's like they're in the middle of a battlefield. Do you think they really want to be surprised? So it's a funny one. It's a good one.
Definitely.
The Rooster Teeth Easter eggs, that was a good idea.
Oh yeah.
I really like those. They're classy.
It definitely added some good humor into it, where sometimes it feels like the like Palmer and Miller and them are a bit serious, which they should be, but certainly the Rooster Teeth audio adds to it. Just gives you a little bit of comic relief. Yep.
Also, there is no specific achievement for this episode.
Darn.
Yep. So, sorry about that. I believe there's one. There's not one in the next one either, but there are 2 in the last one.
Mm-hmm. Which we'll cover soon. So that concludes our coverage of episode 3, and we will do a video one shortly, probably hereafter as well. Actually, we haven't done any video ones as of this recording, so we actually need to get on those. We'll get them done.
But the podcast is the main concern at the moment. But thank you again to HaloFanForLife for coming out, being our resident expert of Spartan Ops as always.
Thank you.
And we will see you guys for episode 4.
4!
Halo 4, episode 4, yay!